Being someone that makes videos on the internet, I get quite a bit of emails from different companies trying to sponsor my video. And reading a bunch of them over a long period of time makes you kind of complacent and sometimes makes you overlook certain details. A couple of days back, I got this email. Hello, we at Zomato would like to suggest a collaboration, a exciting opportunity for your channel. We're confident, blah, blah, blah. Kindly verify that your email address is active so we can share additional details. So at first sight, this looks like a typical reach out email about a potential collaboration. So I said, yes, this is the right email to reach me. And they reply with this. Greetings, thank you something something, campaign details. We aim to feature a customized 15-second Zomato advertisement in your upcoming YouTube videos. Now this should have been an immediate red flag because this shows that this company or the person pretending to be this company doesn't actually know the YouTube's terms of service. Because on YouTube, you can't just inject an ad into your video without giving any of your own commentary. It's against the terms of service. But me being me, I overlooked this part. I thought maybe they're doing this for the first time and they don't know, so I just carried on. Then they said, watch a sample ad video at this URL. And this video is from their official channel with over 500,000 subscribers and it has over 400,000 views. So I watched it and it basically looks just like your regular ad. Now here they provided the compensation information, which should have been another red flag. First off, it's very rare that a brand does this and gives a whole pricing table for what they pay for creators, but I thought maybe they're just a huge company and they want to save time, so I can feel free to categorize myself. And look at those compensations. Anyway, on to the collaboration steps. Review the advertising agreement and materials provided in the link below. Once we receive the completed agreement, we will transfer 50% of the agreed amount to your bank details provided in the contract. After the advertisement is posted, the remaining amount will be transferred to your account. To me, this looked like a standard procedure, so I continued onward onto the next massive red flag. They said, here's the access promo kit, including the agreement and advertising materials at the following link. And it has a password. Now, the reason someone would add a password onto a zip file, and this is an archived file, you can see the extension is .rar. So the reason someone would add a password is that so Google or Microsoft, you can see this is uploaded to OneDrive, wouldn't be able to scan what's inside of this file and detect any viruses. And actually, if I just take a screenshot here and then compress this file with a password, you'll notice that when I try to open it, it asks me for a password. And then if I share this file with someone else via Google Drive and then try to download this file, you'll notice that it says Google Drive can't scan this file for viruses. So the reason why someone would add a password to a zip file inside of OneDrive or Google Drive is to make sure that no viruses get detected. So knowing this information, I decided to completely ignore this and just downloaded this straight onto my Mac. Thankfully, I did this on my Mac, not on Windows, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to open this file. Hopefully this doesn't nuke my computer. Now inside of here, I can find another zipped file called the agreements archive and the copyright data that says that the contents of this archive are basically protected by copyright and the use of this material may lead to legal action. This is obviously to show that this is serious. And once I extracted this Zomato agreements archive, I found an exe file inside, and that's when I realized that I need to jump over to Windows to open this file because it's an exe file. And thankfully, while turning on my Windows computer, my brain had a little split second to process what I was doing. And that's when a little alarm went off in my head. A purple burglar alarm.
Purple burglar alarm.
So once I was inside, I thankfully decided to spin up a virtual machine. Now, for those of you that don't know, a virtual machine is essentially a fake computer inside your computer. So if I open VirtualBox, which is a software that lets you create virtual machines, here I have two instances of Windows. If I open one of them, it will run Windows within my Windows. And whatever you do inside of that machine, if you install any viruses, if you screw something up, you can simply close this window, come back here and delete this machine. Nothing on your actual computer gets affected. And this is very useful for testing purposes when you're unsure if you're visiting a safe website or if the file you downloaded gives you any viruses. So thankfully, I decided to open this link inside of the virtual machine. You can also copy something on your host machine, and then here under devices, you can do a shared clipboard from host to guest, which means that it will let you paste things from your clipboard inside of the virtual machine. So I can just copy and paste this link. Or can I? Yes, I can. So I downloaded this file, for which of course I needed WinRAR by WinRAR. So let's actually open this file and the archive that's inside of it. It needs the password. I'm also going to disable the shared clipboard so it doesn't weasel its way through into my actual PC. And let's see what we find inside. We have the comprehensive digital agreement analysis of contractual terms and payment without a space structures.exe. Nice. Let's put everything on the desktop. Then there's some random photo here. And this is the star of the show, the exe file. Before I open it, let's open Windows Defender and see what happens once I open this file. Obviously, let's turn on virus and threat protection. And here we go. Boom. It gives me an error and it says threats found. Microsoft Defender found threats. Get details. Oh, and it's gone. It might be because it deleted the threat, or maybe it only thinks that it deleted it. Here it says threat quarantined. And if I expand this, Trojan virus, ladies and mental gen. Now imagine if I had opened this on my actual computer, not inside of a virtual machine. This would have been bad. But now since I did it inside of a virtual machine, I can simply right click and remove. Delete all the files and it's gone. And I can right click on this one, choose clone, and have the clone of my Windows clone. That's why I have two virtual machines, by the way. One for normal usage and one that I can duplicate after I delete the one that I nuked. So I can choose where I want to save it and it will create a full clone of this clean virtual machine that I can use for things like this. But lo and behold, a couple of days later, I get a different email. This time it's about Sony Vegas from Vegas PR. Greetings, dear social partner. I'm a manager of Vegas Studio. Our team of experts find your content suitable for an integration into our product. Can we discuss the details? Now, there's nothing really wrong with this email, and seeing that I recently made this video about DaVinci Resolve, it made sense that someone from Sony Vegas, which is a video editing software, would reach out to me because they'd want to do a sponsorship about their software. Now, there's one thing here. We would be glad to work with you if you are this weirdly interested. These look like the type of symbols that someone would use for a bunch of automated emails, and something like the recipient's name would go inside of these brackets, and then the software would automatically fill it in for every email so that it feels personalized. So I said, what kind of integration are you looking for? And here was the response. Dear influencer, could have at least grabbed my name from the previous email, although I have a very professional email name. Anyway, thank you for your interest and a bunch of other stuff. To learn more, I invite you to check out the features and functions. So this is basically a link to the official Sony Vegas website. Wait, is it the actual website? VegasCreativeSoftware.com. Yes, so it is the official website. And then they say, we're interested in integrating a 30-second promotional video, just like the previous email. And from this sentence, it should have been immediately clear to me that the person writing this email doesn't know anything about YouTube's terms of service. Also, I should have definitely checked out this domain name. It has Vegas Creative Software, which is the domain of the official website, .com.pl. And this is definitely not official. Let's see what happens if we go here. Ooh, happy to see your domain with Hostinger. So they're hosting this website on Hostinger. And if we go into the Who Is database, we can see when it's been registered. It's from the Netherlands, okay. It was created this year, but this is definitely not the official domain name of Vegas Software. There's a bunch of other information about the payment. The cost of 30-second integration ranges from 1,000 to 7,000 USD. Anyway, you can familiarize yourself with the options of advertising placement and other stuff in the following link. And once again, there is a password, but this time there's also a Mac version. And thankfully, I also decided to do this inside of a virtual machine. So let's open the other Windows clone one more time and see how good of an opportunity this sponsorship is. Shared clipboard disabled, and it immediately downloads the zipx file. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't do this on my actual computer. Anyway, let's open this with WinRAR that I don't have anymore because I deleted the previous virtual machine. And let's open the Windows Defender one more time, turn everything on, and let's open the zip file. Let's put everything on the desktop, which requires a very strong password, that is Vegas. Everything's on the desktop, and threats are immediately found. Protection history, severe one more time. Looks like we got ourselves another Trojan virus. Beautiful. HTML. HTML. And this time it was inside of this folder, the Contract Vegas Pro. Let's actually go inside here, inside of the archive, and extract it once again. Vegas, and as soon as I extract it, Windows immediately catches this as a virus file. Now, what's especially scary with these is that you can't know for sure if Windows Defender defended your PC. Trojan vactac.h!ml, the same I had, is incredibly difficult to erase by hand. It puts its files in multiple places throughout the disk and can restore itself from one of the parts. Yeah. So even if you think it's gone, it comes right back. Look at the resolution of these media assets. Anyway, let's power off the virtual machine and send it to the trash once again, delete all files, and make a clone of a clone of a clone of this one. Now, if you want to set up these virtual machines for yourself, you can use a free software called VirtualBox. All you have to do is download it and install it, and then download the operating system that you want to install onto it. If it's Windows, you're looking for a Windows ISO file. Just look for download Windows 11. And here's the first link. If you scroll down, you're looking for the Windows disk image or the ISO file. I'm going to select this download and click download now. This file is pretty big, like 6 or 7 gigabytes, so it's going to take some time to download it. But once it's done, you should have something that looks like this. It's an ISO file. Now, I already have it here downloaded, and once you have the Oracle VirtualBox software installed, you can go into Machine, New, and here it will let you set up the virtual machine. Here's a folder where the virtual machine will be saved, and here under the ISO image, you want to select this file. So I'm going to expand this, choose Other, and on my desktop, select this file. And I have to give this machine a name. Next, here it's asking how much of your computer's memory and processor cores you want to allow for the virtual machine to use. Generally, you want to go with less than half. So I'm going to give it 12 gigs of RAM and something like 4 processor cores. Next, since it's an operating system, it also needs space. So here you can assign how much space you want to give it. I wouldn't recommend doing something less than 20 gigabytes. Something like 80 gigabytes is fine. Next, here it gives you the summary of the virtual machine and you can click finish. And it's right here. It should start booting up. And once it does, it's your typical Windows installation process. Or not. It says the virtual machine failed to boot. It wants me to select the ISO file again, and it failed again. So I'm going to shut it down, then right click, go into settings. Inside of system, I'm going to deselect the floppy disk because I believe this was the problem last time. So now if I start it, it should boot up straight into the Windows installer. Probably. Maybe not. Press any key to boot from CD or DVD. I just pressed a random key and oh, here we go. Never mind. Windows cannot read the product key setting from the unattended answer file. Had this issue before as well. Not 100% sure how I fixed it though. Oh, under storage, I deleted this, I think. And there we go. This is just your typical Windows installation process now. By the way, if you don't want it asking you to create a Microsoft account, you can go into Devices, then Network, and toggle Connect Network Adapter. This essentially will disconnect your virtual machine from the internet. And then once you're inside of Windows, you can enable it again. And one more thing that you can do is once it finishes all of this and prompts you into the setup screen, let's wait for that to happen. Also, if you're using macOS, you can use VMware Fusion to create a virtual machine, but I'm too lazy to make a tutorial for it. Let me know if you want me to do that down below. Come on, Windows. Oh, it is stuck. Not the most seamless experience. Let's shut it down and open it back up again. It should continue, right? Great tutorial. Okay, the Windows installation process is not super seamless, but once you do it once, you can keep duplicating the clean machine and do stuff on the duplicate one so that you don't have to install another one again once that one gets infested. Oh, the mouse cursor is different, which probably means it will continue from where we left off. Yes. Okay, beautiful. So once it does its just a moment thing, you want to click Shift F10, which will open up this window, then select it with your mouse, because otherwise it will not let you type inside of it. And then type in OOBE, then this backwards slash and bypass NRO, which will restart this, and you will not have to create any Microsoft accounts or any other stuff while you're installing Windows. You'll just be able to click yes and next a bunch of times and you'll be on your desktop. And here when we disabled the internet before, it now lets us press I don't have internet. Otherwise, you must connect to the internet. Continue with limited setup. So I'm just going to click next a bunch of times and finish the installation process. Cool, so the lesson that I learned from all of this is even though you know a bunch of this stuff, like to check the domain names, when you get complacent and you're not actively looking for these things, it's so easy to slip up. I almost opened the first one on my actual Windows PC, which would have been horrible. Oh, and there's one more thing I forgot to mention. Psych.